Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 2 of GT Sports Weekly. As I mentioned in my Facebook post, as everybody got the chance to see it, we're introducing a new host this week. My cousin Grandin is going to be joining us for the foreseeable future, so we added to take in a new free agent, and Grandin, we're excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here. You brought in the top free agent, so good for you. I like it. My name's Grandin. I'm cousin of Tyler, obviously. Don't hold that against me. Guess I'm here to lay some insight in on LeBron. Big LeBron fan. As far as football goes, more of a Colts fan, Notre Dame fan, college. Basketball, Hoosiers, obviously. So, let's go ahead and get this started and roll it to Garrett.
All right, hey guys, how's it going? Over here, ready to start episode 2, and some of my favorite teams are got college, do Michigan all around. Don't do that 2-team stuff, so stay loyal to one college. But NFL, Patriots from Michigan, Tom Brady, big connection there, and then like the Lakers for the NBA, and hope they can start figuring stuff out this offseason.
Yeah, once Kobe left, I denounced my fandomship to the Lakers, but I used to be a Lakers guy, but just lifelong Kobe Bryant fan. No big Dallas Cowboys fan, Notre Dame football and IU basketball. We don't roll with Notre Dame basketball. Really don't watch too much of them. I do respect Mike Bray though. NBA again. Really don't root for anybody, and big hockey guy. I like the Dallas Stars, and so kind of excited for what they're going on. And then big Tiger Woods guy. But so we wanted to dip in since the big issue going on right now is the NBA free agency, and since it's Sunday, there's a lot of guys that's already committed, and a lot of guys that's already come out where they're going. The big one being, of course, Paul George,
Playoff P.
He's already stated that he's staying in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, it's a pretty big shocker, if you ask me.
I think it's I don't think it's too big of a shocker. I think it's the same thing what Kyrie did. If you play bad, you get blamed, but if you play well, LeBron takes all the credit when you're on a team with LeBron. I think that's an issue and a product of playing with LeBron.
Yeah, but it's not like Paul George played good though. I mean, his playoff when he's in the playoffs last year, he was terrible. So I think he would have went somewhere where someone else could have shined, which is kind of why I think he stayed in OKC a little bit because Westbrook kind of takes all the blame away from him.
Yeah, but Westbrook's also the one kind of taking away all of his opportunity too, like he does with some players. I mean, he's got to have the ball. It's his city, his team still, since he's the one been there the longest. And I think Paul George suffers a little bit because doesn't get the ball every time like Russell Westbrook does, and doesn't get utilized as much as he did when he was kind of the number one guy on the Pacers.
I don't really think he wants to be the number one guy, personally. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I don't think Paul George is really step in that limelight. That's why he didn't even give the Lakers a meeting. And so I feel like I don't feel like he wants that. But also, I don't think Paul George can lead a team anyway. And Paul George is not even that good. I think Paul George is kind of maybe a really good Robin. And Oklahoma City, I don't know why everybody's so excited with Carmelo picking up his option of $27 million. What are they going to do that's going to make him so much better? Because they haven't got any better, and obviously someone's going to get really better wherever LeBron's going. I don't understand why everyone's celebrating.
Well, I definitely think they're going to buy out Carmelo Anthony, personally. I don't think they're going to keep him on the roster.
I think they should, but
really?
Yeah.
I think that takes up so much of your play clock if he does his isolation plays, because that's a lot of time, and it just
so you think they should keep him?
No, I think they should get rid of him because he doesn't fit in. Like, he's an isolation player, really good 1v1, but when you're trying to run a whole offense and he slows it down for 5 to 10 seconds at a time, doesn't really help your chemistry or flow.
I agree. That's why I think they'll get rid of him. I think they'll buy him out or trade him or do something to get rid of him and get him off their books, because right now they're stated to have the highest luxury tax in the history of the NBA. So I think they'll get rid of that.
I do think the surprising thing in the night, kind of today and early today, I thought the Rockets overpaid for Chris Paul. Chris Paul is not worth 4 years, $160 million.
Max contract.
Do you realize? I understand, but the last 2 years of that contract, he's making $42 and $44 million.
Hey, Chris Paul, come on now. You don't think he's worth that?
Where was Chris Paul when you needed him most?
Well, he got hurt. I mean, you can't blame him for that.
you want to be a reliable guy, you want to have the max contract, I need you to step up and play. And, that's so funny that they've already committed to Chris Paul, but yet Clint Capella is still an issue at hand. He's supposed to be meeting with the Lakers.
Chris Paul, I thought, was the one that was most consistent on the Rockets throughout the playoffs. Like, he was playing defense.
He did.
He was big-time scorer. And I think that the Rockets probably could have had a good chance of winning if he doesn't go down.
But Chris Paul is always good when he has someone to throw to, and he has a big guy. Chris Paul has never been good by himself.
Well, you don't think they're going to keep Clint Capella then? I mean, he's a restricted free agent. He's not like he's unrestricted, so.
Okay, it's not like the Lakers can't throw him a deal where they can't, because you got to understand
they're looking
Clint Capella's going to want his money.
I don't know if they're looking at Clint Capella.
Yeah, but Boogie Cousins, he's been reported to saying that Anthony Davis still wants him back. Now, he's not committed anywhere, but he's leaning more towards New Orleans, and I feel like that'd be the better option for him. But Clint Capella, in my mind, with Trevor Ariza signing the 1 year, $15 million, he went to Phoenix.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. I don't see why Houston's going to be so much better, because when Harden was missing, you want to talk about someone who's not playing well, terrible, like Paul George said. James Harden was absolute trash.
What was it, like 27 missed threes in a row, right? Is that what that was?
27. We're not talking 27 missed shots. We're talking 27 missed threes. And on 25 missed threes, he thought he was open for that 26 and 27 missed threes.
The shooter mentality.
I don't understand what was going on.
You like that, though. You like the shooter mentality, so.
Yeah, you don't like the shooter mentality is good after 5-6 shots, not after 20. You need to stop after 20. It's clearly not going. And there was 18 of those that were wide open. But I feel like he needs to the issue on the hand was with Clint Capella. Because Clint Capella, he was starting to develop a three-point shot. He could play outside to in. He wasn't just a big man. And with Boogie Cousins, he's just a big man. Boogie's at like 20% three-point shooting, and Boogie's just a inside guy. He's more dominant than Capella, but Capella, you could even play at 4 and 5. Boogie's a solid 5.
Boogie can play 3. I mean, he's got a way better shot than Clint Capella does.
Clint Capella averages more rebounds. Clint Capella doesn't get in foul trouble. Clint Capella didn't foul out as many times as Boogie Cousins, and Clint Capella hasn't missed as many games as Boogie Cousins.
Yeah, but you just said he's a better player. I don't think he's a better player.
I definitely think Clint Capella is a better player than right now than Boogie Cousins.
I would rather take. I mean, how could you?
I would take Clint Capella.
No. What do you think? I mean, Garrett, personally, what's your opinion on that?
If they're both healthy, I think Boogie Cousins is better. But I believe you got to find those guys that can stay consistent and be reliable. Because if you lose, if you're really banking on that one piece that you don't have a good backup for, and you put all your resources into that, and it goes down, I mean, that changes the whole dynamic of the team and could just make you three seeds lower than what you were competing at before. And you can't do that, especially in the West, because if you lose any ground on the Warriors right now, you can't afford to.
But I also think with Houston, if the win now mentality, I don't think they're really too concerned with Capella, to be honest, because you still got Dwight Howard out there.
You can fill the shoes pretty easily, I think.
Right. Yeah, Dwight Howard could be out there too. So I understand why not signing Capella and you get Chris Paul, because there's other centers, there's not other Chris Pauls. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. But I don't understand why Clint Capella wasn't signed. I feel like for me, if I'm wanting to stay consistent for a while, Clint Capella is the guy. Chris Paul was just getting older, and he got hurt again, and he just seems to get hurt every single playoffs, and that was the farthest he's ever been in the Western Conference, and he couldn't even come up clutch. But I do think with a healthy Chris Paul, I think Houston would have had a legit shot.
I feel like the two teams that made it to the finals this year, if the two stars would have been on, like James Harden for the Rockets and Victor Oladipo for the Pacers, if you would have shot 2 for 15 for 2 games straight,
they could have beat Cleveland in the first round.
Cleveland's not there, and the Warriors possibly aren't there, so that would have been just
Well, and you speak of Cleveland, not only Indiana, but that Boston Eastern Conference. If you got Gordon or Kyrie, they're probably not there either.
I know, but I think that was a lot of good experience for the future for those younger guys in that Boston team, especially Tatum and Brown. Those guys, I think, learned a lot. I mean, Brad Stevens showed that he can do a lot with his 2 best pieces gone. And Al Horford, I think, was a great leader. And
I agree.
He came up clutch. I mean, he didn't have all your big points or anything. I mean, usually
he's an all-star, though.
13 to 17 points, but they were the fourth quarter, 2-minute points or the big steal. He did all the mature leadership work.
He's the Draymond Green.
You think Tatum overperformed this year?
A little bit less.
you think Tatum overperformed? Do you think he overperformed this year to an extent where he's not going to have that good a year next year?
No, he won't have that good of a year next year because you got more ball handlers coming in with Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. So no, he won't have that good of a year. But he showed his potential to the point where now, if Boston eventually doesn't pay him, he can go get his money elsewhere. You see star potential in Tatum. I think Jaylen Brown. Honestly, Tatum was clutch, but if you look at it over the whole year, Jason Brown was your better player.
Tatum was way better in the playoffs than Jaylen Brown was.
No, I said playoffs, but if you look over the whole year, Brown was your more reliable and more consistent player. Brown, when Kyrie went out those last 20 games,
remember Tatum's a rookie,
and to secure that number one,
a little unfair to say he's not consistent. I mean, he was a rookie.
Yeah, I mean,
but he's still
a young guy too.
He had a year or 2 years in? Was it 2 years? One?
Okay, but
they're even like a year apart though. They're like 20 and 21.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? I mean, they're right there. Yeah, I mean, they're right there. I'm just saying I would take Brown. Now, Tatum showed star potential, absolutely, but I feel like for the more reliable guy, I would take Brown.
I think Kyrie Irving personally watched himself get out of Boston because I don't think they're going to go out of their way to sign a big contract for Kyrie Irving when he's up next year. Now they have Tatum and Brown and Rozier.
Well, if you need to know Kyrie's worth, go ask LeBron.
Not very much because they still made it to the finals. I don't know what his worth is.
Oh my God, that East is weak though.
This time they got swept instead of actually.
They really competed first game, so they should have won the first game.
Yeah,
great. You went 5 again, just like last year.
Valuable Kyrie Irving is because so without Kyrie Irving, he still made the finals. With Kyrie Irving, he still made the finals. I mean,
with Kyrie Irving, you make it to the finals again.
Oh well, Boston. Yeah, absolutely. Boston's going to beat Cleveland next year if nothing happens.
Okay, so if that plays out and Kyrie stays healthy, Kyrie's made it to 2 straight finals.
Kyrie's made it to, I don't know about that. I'm not sure if I agree with that.
I think Kyrie is that clutch piece that seals games, which he did for LeBron in the Cleveland win. I mean, I think like they were really competitive that first time they played the Warriors until he went down because they obviously lost Love pretty early on to the Celtics. He got his shoulder popped out of place by Olnick. And then I think Kyrie had a knee injury that took him out, but he was playing awesome defense. And he was really just all over the place until he went out.
Okay, but you guys just stated that you like people that you don't rely on, people that don't get injured. Now you're telling me Kyrie Irving is someone you can rely on and someone who's clutch. So you're kind of contradicting yourself a little bit here.
No. There's a difference between you asked what's star power. Kyrie Irving is worth that chance. It's like the same reason why Houston just signed Chris Paul. Even though if you're a little older, I don't think so. I personally don't think so. I think Kyrie is.
That's the only reason you think he's more.
But I don't.
That's the reason you think he's worth it and Chris Paul's not.
Absolutely, yes. For 4 years, granted, in 2 years from now, Chris Paul's going to be making $42 million. 3 years from now, it's going to be 44. Why is Chris Paul worth that? LeBron's only at 34. Well, Kobe at his height was 27.
That was before the cap went up
MJ
substantially.
So. Right, but I'm just saying to the point, they wasn't exercised that much. It wasn't. He's going to be making more than
Harden will get a contract extension before that happens, but personally.
Well, I'm just saying, all you can go is right now. But I just feel like Chris Paul is being paid way too much. He's not worth that. And then even Paul George's contract.
Guys. That's if you want to keep stars, you got to offer on the max. That's just how it is.
I don't want to keep the stars. I don't think Paul George is a star.
I think Chris Paul's worth it, but Paul George, no. Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul has propelled that Rockets team to be competitive against. And they said like if Harden would have played those 3-pointers out, and if Chris Paul would have not gone down in that, I think 5th game because he had to sit up 6 and then came back 7, kind of hurt. They got a really good chance at winning. And Paul George, like he doesn't have that. I don't know. He doesn't have that carry factor where it feels like he always has to have someone else finish the game for him, and never could finish against LeBron when he had all the star power around him and the Pacer team. And I just don't think. Yeah, I think that with Russell Westbrook, I think it's even harder because now he doesn't get the ball anymore. But like you said, I don't think he wants to be number one guy. And I'm actually really happy as a Lakers fan that he went back because I was hoping that we were going to avoid that. So
I definitely think Paul George needs to realize that he was overpaid, but I feel like there's better players that OKC
other
could
than
have went
LeBron
with for
would they
that
have
much money.
went with?
But you're
Who would they went with other than LeBron that would have been worth that money?
Well, if you want to do the sign and trade factor, you got a guy down in San Antonio.
This is free agency. You just said, who could they sign? Who could they sign right now that is better than Paul George other than LeBron James?
You can sign those guys at free agency and still do the sign and trade because he's still not up for the year. So just because you sign him doesn't mean they're going to keep him. What I'm saying is, even if they sign the free agents now, you can still do the sign and trade. The trade deadline ain't until February. There is no reason why you can't trade those guys because if you get enough compensation back, Paul George is a really good trade for Kawhi Leonard, I think, and I think that would be enough to get someone up in OKC. Just because they signed Paul George doesn't mean they're going to keep him.
OKC could have done a lot better. I'm just asking you, who could they have done a lot better with other than LeBron James right now? Who could they have done better? What could they have got that was better than Paul George? In a sign, not like trade
for that much money.
But who could they have signed that would have been better?
You could sign more minimum level guys to actually get a team around Westbrook. And actually that way when them three don't go off the court, you actually have a bench. Because their bench production was the third lowest in the league. And for a guy that made it to the Western Conference, what did they make it, second round? No, they got out in the first round, didn't they? Against the Jazz?
Mm-hmm.
The rookie.
Yeah.
The rookie went on there and beat him. And Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, went in there and beat them. They didn't have any inside presence. And Steven Adams, to the point where he's actually a really underrated center. But I feel like Oklahoma City could have went and got some mid-level exception guys and actually build a team around Westbrook to the point where Westbrook's going to dominate the ball. But you could bring someone in like who's currently a free agent right now, JJ Redick. You could have used some of that one there to get some shooting. OKC has no shooting. You could have come in there and then look at Dwight Howard and get a center in there and actually come.
Yeah, but Dwight Howard's not going to come off the bench. You think Dwight Howard's come off the bench? You're crazy. There's no.
I think Dwight Howard doesn't have a team right now, and he wants to play.
I don't think he's going to be efficient cost-wise. No, Dwight Howard.
You don't have to. You can bring him in for a veteran league minimum. You don't have to bring him. And Paul George, he's not even – they're not worth it. They don't want to win. All they want to do is – and what was with the party last night? They hosted a party to celebrate. What are they celebrating?
They probably knew before we knew, obviously.
Well, yeah, that's why they sent out the invites, but I don't understand why that's such a big celebration. I don't know. I don't feel like Paul George is worth it. It was just my opinion. I just don't feel like
celebration. He's not going to end up in LA because I feel like the Lakers right now, with all their cap space, they feel like they have to sign stars. And him being one of the top, just talked about 3 available. I feel like.
Well, let's talk about this then. What does that mean for LeBron now? No Paul George.
Well, you're the LeBron guy.
I don't think
you're all
really
about LeBron. What's LeBron going to do
at this point? Even. So I personally think that I think it hurt LA a little bit that Paul George didn't go there because now I think eventually what's going to happen is if LeBron does go to LA, he's going to go there by himself and then hopefully get a Kawhi Leonard. That's how I personally believe.
And that's a case I could be happy with because I don't want Paul George and LeBron. I feel like you got 2 guys again that are going to be competing over the ball. And Kawhi Leonard shows that I know he was the younger guy with the star power there in San Antonio, but Parker and Manu were both kind of more support pieces with Tim Duncan still being the big fundamental that he always was. But, Kawhi Leonard showed that he could play with other, great talent. And
that's a great point.
And gel. And he can also do all the other stuff. So when LeBron doesn't have to go guard the best player, I think that's a big win for him because he can affect so much more of the field when you got a guy like Kawhi Leonard that can go guard the Steph Curry or go guard whoever that LeBron would have to focus his full attention on. And now he can kind of affect 2 to maybe 3 players in the passing game or the backcourt, and I think just have a lot more potential. And
I agree. I think it would be a perfect marriage for him and Kawhi to both be on the same team.
I'm sure yeah. No, I think Kawhi definitely – I think he's just one of those great competitors, doesn't care about the stats or the spotlight. He just seems like he's never talking or jawing or anything. I mean, he plays with Popovich, kind of like the Bill Belichick of the NBA. Usually your players don't do any extracurriculars or anything or get in trouble much for on-the-court stuff, and they usually always know their place. So I feel like I know he's not getting along with Pop now and everything, but for the time there with all the star power, he shows like that he can play with that.
I think the Spurs had a really good free agency
away from
night. They got Marco Bellinelli. I feel like, pretty, not necessarily to convince Kawhi to stay, but I feel like for the rebuild factor after they let him go, whatever happens to sign and trade, or if he just leaves on his own,
he's a solid bench
I feel like
player.
Marco Bellinelli is a solid player, and they didn't get him a too bad deal either at $15 million.
I mean, he's not. I don't think he's saving the franchise.
I wouldn't call him a bench player. I'd call him more of a role player, but.
If you have Kawhi Leonard, yeah. If you don't have Kawhi Leonard,
I didn't say saving the franchise, but I think he's a really good contributing piece. Yeah, but they're starting to build. You got to start building there because they
still
both
think
know
they can
both
repair the
sides
relationship.
It's over.
That's
so you got to start
reading,
somewhere, and
they really think they can repair that relationship. I mean, from what I've seen on the rumors on the news, I mean, I think the Spurs really think they still have a chance of repairing a relationship with Kawhi. But I don't think they do. I personally don't think they do, but I think they do.
I don't even know what it'd take to make Kawhi stay. Like, I don't even know what he's looking for. It was Parker's comments and the training staff, like his quadriceps injury.
I don't think
he's want to get a second opinion. I feel like on the court,
comes out.
I don't know why there was a problem. He was getting his minutes and he was playing. I don't know. I really don't know what was going on, but
I also don't think you can blame a player for wanting to make sure they're in a good spot and feel good healthy-wise, because you don't want to go out there and play at 80, 85% and then just have it. Yeah, because it's just like you don't want to go. One, you feel like you're letting your team down because you're not playing to your full potential, but also that's just long-term damage you could potentially do to yourself and your career. And it's like you really have to. I mean, there's bigger priorities than playing a couple more games that season instead of just resting. And I think being higher potential down the road,
baby, down the
for your career.
So, Garrett, do you think with LeBron, I don't know if you saw, but the plane touchdown, the plane touchdown in L.A.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got his luggage. There was signs of a luggage card. There was signs of just him and his wife.
Yeah.
There was nothing else, and he's in L.A. right now.
I think the Lakers have the best shot for him by far. It's just they have the most space. They got the most.
Do you really think he'll go there by himself?
It seems like he always wants to go somewhere with other pieces.
Question. Do you think LeBron would go there without Kawhi being there first?
So you definitely think Cleveland?
I don't think Cleveland's definitely. I don't think definitely out, but.
Well, I feel like is Cleveland definitely out?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're more out of it. No, but the Lakers are, I think, the front runner over the Sixers. And I think with LeBron, no, I do not think he would only go to LA by himself, because I feel like he wants to win now. He doesn't want to wait for that team to grow, because they still got some growing to do. I know they got a lot of potential, which is what I like. And I'd rather them not go get LeBron. Like, I would love if they just got Kawhi and just built around that for the future, because he's younger, and I think he can do everything on both ends and kind of hopefully teach the younger group just grow with them and be that veteran piece down the road for him. And with LeBron, I mean, if he comes, like, great, Lakers will be good for a couple of years, and then they'll go back to having to figure it out and maybe like having to rebuild again. And it's like they're really close, and I'd hate to see them give up all that future potential just to have maybe 2 to 3 years. And again, you're trying to compete with the Warriors right now. I don't think they can get enough, at least in a chemistry way. I don't think they will gel in time to like compete against the Warriors or the Rockets. And that's two, you could run into them both in your playoffs instead of just one if you're staying in the East. And so, but I still think LA has the best chance, even though as a Lakers fan, I would like to see us just keep our future bright.
Yeah, see, I agree with that. I feel like LA needs to keep away from LeBron. He's only going to hurt him going down forward, and so I feel like they need to stay away. Now, I'm not a LeBron guy, but he would.
Have you told the listeners
put you in a position to win
guy?
now? Absolutely, but I don't want that. I want to win. I want to
There's
win consistently for the next 4, 5,
There's
6
proof.
years.
I
I don't
mean,
want to just win 1 or 2 years and then
that's
bye-bye.
definitely not hearsay. There's proof of you wearing a LeBron jersey, smiling.
No. There is no proof of me being a LeBron.
I guess I'll have to post that picture
That's
on
all
our
hearsay.
on our Facebook side then, won't we? Exactly.
Until I see that picture, I will deny that claim.
Well, let's start the insanity.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not a LeBron guy, but
I mean,
it'll be interesting to see what they do. It'll be interesting to see LeBron. And I think by next week, definitely by the end of this week,
breaking news.
I feel like we'll have more of a know where he's going.
Minnesota, Derrick Rose coming back, baby. Come on now.
I'm sorry. Oh, breaking news. Oh, the Minnesota.
I mean, he showed signs of life playing for him this year, which I liked. I like to see that because, I mean, could you imagine telling people that guy used to be an MVP and like, there's no way leave that.
Did you see on Facebook that fan went into the orthopedic and then he just said, that was really sad. So he walks in this orthopedic center in Pasadena and Derrick Rose is there and he sees him going in, top notch rehab center. And they go, Derrick Rose, and he repeatedly goes, as he describes in his post, "What's up, man? You're the man. You're the man." And Derrick Rose goes, "Nah, man. I wish I used to be."
Exactly. Why should wait?
And then all that fan said, "I didn't know what to say, but I felt so heartbroken." That's a shame. That's what could.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not only that too. It's repeatedly too. And his knees. It ain't like there's just been one injury to Rose's knee. It's been, it's been over and over to Rose's knees, and which has killed his speed. It could have been. It's the same thing with Kobe with his Achilles back then. I mean, it's the same thing, but it's just a shame that Derrick Rose still had star potential in him, and it got shut down real early. But we'll see where it goes and see how the NBA free agency does. I wanted to dip into the exciting thing going on, the World Cup, and I personally am. I'm not a soccer guy continuously throughout the whole year, but every 4 years when the World Cup comes on, I'm definitely a big fan. And I was really excited starting this weekend with the potential of the Messi-Ronaldo matchup. But unfortunately, the first 2 games, Messi and Ronaldo go out.
Either get it all or get none of it, it seems. But no, they were awesome games though. Because first game with France and Argentina, I think they played first. But either way, their game was a shootout, like 4-3,
great game,
just great game. And there was a lead change and everything, which is like really rare in soccer. And it was a ton of fun. And unfortunately, I was really hoping Messi was going to win because potentially his last World Cup, also potentially Ronaldo's last World Cup, but could have been something for the ages to have those two actually compete on the same World Cup stage. So, but yeah, and then Uruguay too beat Portugal 2-1, and just it's unbelievable what that team can do because they come from a country of just like 3.5 million people.
Yeah, it's like 3.5, 3.7.
Incredibly small, just quality of talent for that population size. And I think the biggest thing that they do that a lot of other teams don't have is Cavani and Luis Suarez are their 2 forwards, like really just great goal scorers.
I'm a huge Suarez fan.
Oh, and Cavani he did great. He had both goals this game. And but they come back and play defense because that's the core. Again, great players that know how to play with their team, and they just did so much on defense too, and they've been doing it the whole World Cup. Like you'll see them back in the box, and then they'll break out and then sprint all the way down the field with the ball because they don't want to give up a chance just to sit down there and be a cherry picker and wait and to hope their defense solves everything.
Did it not seem that France and Argentina game was France so much faster? I mean, I was watching that game and France just breaks out constantly. They are speed kills. You're
a big soccer guy, obviously.
And Messi's even comments after the game.
But
we're old, they're young. Right? Simple as that.
It is a very young French team.
Yeah, very young French team.
Who would you say right now is the favorite?
No, they are not.
In your eyes.
Right, yeah, play it a lot and follow it too. It's so hard because there are so many favorites that you could argue, but a lot of them are on the same side of the bracket. Like they're the whole left side of the bracket. Like all those teams, you could argue like Japan traditionally hasn't been
if you're
as historic as the rest of them, but like all the like that's just it feels like the left side of the bracket is just the bracket of death. Where the right side traditionally, all these teams are either new or do not have like the World Cup status as these other teams, and it feels like
in the knockout stage of the World Cup, who's moving on?
I mean, I think Spain has a great chance because their bracket is really just historically they got to go through Russia, which they were a big surprise, which has been awesome for them because they're the host country this World Cup, and so they made it out, but they did lose their last game, so we'll see if they lose any momentum going into that game against Spain. But I think. So I know they won one recently. They won the World Cup 2 ago. Yeah, they won back in 2010. But they just got the easy side of the bracket. Really, there's just Colombia on that side, and England. But England, they got beat by Belgium. I know that it wasn't a great game because they were both through. They weren't like trying super hard, which I would have thought you would have wanted to lose that game because then you could have been on the right side. So I think England has a good chance, but they got to go through Colombia first, which is really the big real test over there. Otherwise, it's like Sweden, Switzerland, Denmark, and Croatia, and those teams, like they've all been really. It's been great surprises this year. Like a lot of the favorites, like Germany, struggled. They didn't even make it out of groups. They got last place in their group actually because they got beat by South Korea at the end.
So break it down for the uncommon soccer fan. How do you advance into the knockout stage of the World Cup?
Okay, so I think they pick it like 6 to 8 months beforehand. Or what all the groups are going to be.
Yeah.
And just completely random. They pick them. And you need to get – it doesn't matter exactly the points, but you get 3 points if you win a game, 1 point if you tie, and 0 points if you lose. And so you play all the teams in your group. You have groups of 4 once. So it's just round robin. And then whoever has the most points goes on to the knockout round.
Points is goals.
No.
No, points is not goals.
So points is from – if you win, you get 3 points.
Oh, you win the game.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. If you win the game, you get 3 points. You tie the game, you each get 1. And then if you lose the game, you get 0. And so Germany lost the first game to Mexico 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
Had a really impressive game against – I mean, they weren't impressive the whole time, but they actually got a red card. Were playing a man down and still came back to beat Sweden 2-1. So you think like, okay, they're going to make it out. And then they lost to South Korea, and Sweden also killed Mexico. So that – got them enough out, and they ended up getting last place, and they were the number 1 team coming into this. So it's hard to say favorites because there's so much surprise this year. But one of the other great things about this World Cup has been the introduction of the VAR system. So don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's basically
kind of expand on that a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like the video assistance referee, I think is what the acronym stands for. Basically, there's 4 refs that are basically doing like instant replay for almost like
replay.
Right. Yeah, kind of like they check for like fouls or anything like egregious or bad enough to like take a second look at, and they're always like whatever talking into the headset of the main ref out on the field, the head referee. It's kind of like if you're a football coach and your guys up in the booth are checking the replay to see if it was a fumble or not, and they're kind of whispering or whatever, talking to the coach and saying, "Hey, throw the challenge flag or don't throw the challenge flag." So, and if it's bad enough, the ref will go stop the game, which has like been new because usually soccer doesn't stop. Just no commercials, no nothing. That's what makes it great to watch if you're really into it. But they go take a look at the play, and it's actually resulted in a lot more penalty kicks this year, which has been fun. I think it's been fun. And because the ref usually won't – you can get away with a little bit more on defense in the box because the ref is really – he has to say it's really bad because if it's not a really bad foul, then he doesn't want to just basically give the team a really high chance or basically a free goal with a PK, like all on his own. So the VAR system, I think, has helped with that where the referee's like, okay – I can not call it, and if it is bad enough to where I miss something, then the guys upstairs will let me know. I'll go take a look and we'll get the call right. And it's been great.
Garrett, for instance, how long is a soccer match?
So, Grandin, you know your comments beforehand where you personally said you're not a big soccer guy. What's wrong with soccer in your eyes? Why is it not popular to you?
I don't see excitement. Yeah. I mean, I just don't see excitement in it. I mean, I don't see the excitement of watching some grown men kick balls around all day. Just not my thing.
Just the 15-minute halftime.
Well, you get to see them hit each other, for
20 minutes of
one.
the
I
World
mean,
Cup, they're gonna go a little
excitement
extra.
right there.
Everyone's watching.
Physicality. So I've never been a soccer guy. I know it's the most popular sport in the world, which is kind of crazy to
So
think
what's the
about.
difference between grown men kicking
because
balls and grown men
I feel
passing
like
balls?
the United States is kind of condensed. I mean, we don't really consider soccer to be popular. I would say it's not even in the top 5 first.
Mhm. I think it's fighting for the 4 spot with hockey, but I think hockey. I don't know. I grew up obviously in northern
I think
Indiana,
golf as well.
Fort Wayne, so
I think
like
golf's
hockey's
clearly
actually
ahead too.
big up there because it's cold enough sometimes. But either way, you've got the Red Wings right there in Detroit, and that's our team. So, but otherwise, I think you got at least football, basketball, and baseball all clearly ahead of soccer in America right now, and yeah, in popularity. But you're talking like the golf players aren't going out there and doing like crazy athletic things that you're going to lose to.
Whoa.
Golf
Hey, John Daly
is
was a
definitely
legend.
a mental
Okay,
game
come on now.
too.
It is mental and it's physicality. Now you see all these players now being more athletes. You got guys like that can actually like 6'4", 6'5", no more the bigger, fatter guys that are working out and stuff. Not saying soccer players are usually more tend to. John Daly was the legend.
Definitely soccer. 100%.
He tends to be a little bit more athletic, but I don't see where the fact that golf is not athletic anymore. Tiger
saying they're not athletic. It's just a completely different type of game. Like, are you going to say golf is closer to football or soccer is closer to football in terms of what happens?
Yeah.
So, like, without golf, I'm saying you're losing those athletes that are maybe they're just not interested in golf because they like to play the sports like football, soccer, and basketball. So, just that type of athleticism. So, you're losing all your best players, like talent-wise, in the country to football, basketball, and baseball first, and hockey potentially too. Whereas in the rest of the world, they're all going out and playing soccer first. And if they're not good enough to play soccer, they go play basketball or baseball or something else in a lot of cases. And they don't have football either, at least not the way America does, pulling their athletes out and like really just being the biggest draws. I feel like every kid, for the most part, is going to play like little league baseball. For the most part, you're going to play football over soccer, and those two are in the same season. And so it's just, you're going up against America's greatest game, and I feel like soccer loses 11 times out of 10 in that one. So
I definitely think soccer is gaining popularity though, but yes. I don't not here per se, but I feel like with the MLS expanding a couple more teams here recently, I think the MLS will actually get a little bit bigger. They just need more support, and if they get more support, it's cool to play soccer. There's nothing wrong with soccer. It's just it gets, I don't know why it gets such a bad rap. I don't know.
It is growing in popularity, and I think at least we have the men's team has really badly performed lately. They didn't make the World Cup.
Yeah,
that was really disappointing because they should have beat the team they lost to, which was Trinidad. But the women's team has been awesome lately, and I think they have a much bigger following. And they've played really well on the world stage, and I think they make that sport definitely really like a drawing. And again, women's sports don't usually have the football impact like men's sports do to pull away, especially in the same season and everything. But so I think that helps our women's team be a lot better because, some of your best athletes are going to play that when they don't have to worry about another sport or anything. So
it'll be good to see the World Cup. I'm more excited now. There's another game on. Who's the second game today? We're watching Russia and
Croatia and Denmark.
Yeah, Croatia and Denmark game.
Right.
It's just fun to watch. But we do have Tiger Woods in contention this weekend, and it was really fun to watch him. So definitely tune into that. He's only 6 back starting out, but my man Tigray, that's not much.
Right now
it's only about 2 strokes, really.
Got a 3-game suspension.
Yeah, so
Julian Edelman's looking at a 4-game suspension.
I know you being the NFL guy. I know you wanted to dip into the NFL free agency and what's going on with Jameis.
Well, actually, what it is that he tested positive for something, but they're not really sure what it is. So to say that he took them, that's not accurate. So
now
Winston did admit to
Julian took the performance enhancing drugs, correct, or the steroid.
He admitted to being inappropriate with an Uber driver. So, which got him the 4-game suspension, which seemed a little low for most people considering what he did.
being inappropriate, or was it?
Well, they don't really know what he did. So I don't think it'll come out and say what he did. Now, the Uber driver, has been mentioned, she did accept his apology, but
Yeah.
What
I don't
exactly
think that
is
has really.
I mean, what did he do to the Uber driver? Because
He's
I
the
still don't know.
minds
I
of
tried to
most
look into
people
that story, and
who
I know
consider
they say they
sexual
sexually
assault, which we
assaulted.
all should. A very big very, very, very big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to get it right.
Yeah,
And
it's similar to
the end. Because, if you suspend him for 3 games,
Zeke
I mean,
Elliott
it's just
thing that happened with him.
I think they'd rather do that than let him off
I don't
and
think
show
that's
that
what
they're
they
going to
wanted
be
again.
light on something like that. And I think that's why they're sticking with it for right now, at least unless something completely different comes out that changes their mind. I think he's going to sit the 3 games.
Yeah, that was Jerry Jones' fault. That was not exactly the NFL. That was Jerry Jones.
I really think he should just take the 3 games if he's going to get it all at once. Because I think what killed Dallas last season was they didn't know if they were going to have Zeke one week or the next. And when you're making a game plan that's ever fluctuating, you can't really get a lot of consistency with it or learning the other guys for 6 weeks at a time. I think that hurt Dallas, and they lost a lot of extra games because of that instead of just playing without him for 6 games, knowing what they had for sure, and then getting him back and then knowing they had him back and going with the game plan forward with that.
See, I disagree. I don't think it was necessarily because Elliott left. I think Dak Prescott got exposed. Because if you go look at his numbers without play action and with play action, Dak Prescott actually really struggled. And with no Ezekiel Elliott. When he has Ezekiel Elliott back there, knowing that he can do 2 things with the ball, they played a lot better. But with no Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott really got exposed. And it'll be he was a younger guy, but so is Elliott, though. He's just so dominating. But that line is says to be superb, but not going to get into that. But it's just I don't think it was exactly
your boy
the Cowboys
really
didn't struggle exactly
either,
because of the 6-game suspension. It didn't help. Believe me, it didn't help. But I blame that more on the field because Dallas still could have won 4 of those 6 games. 2 of those games they got blown out by more than 20 points. But 4 of those 6 games they were within 10 points in the fourth quarter, and those Dak Prescott. It's funny because Dez still not signed, and I find that appalling to me because I still feel like Dez Bryant could be. He may not be the number 1 guy that he was a couple years ago, but he can still be productive. He's still better than the Brandon Marshall that got signed in Seattle.
Really?
Really?
No, I think Brandon Marshall is a much better pick right now.
Oh my God, that's so ludicrous! What are you doing?
Dez doesn't go get the ball like he used to anymore. He's not that
just
big.
because you can't jump for the ball, you can still go. He's still explosive.
I think I don't like that mentality on my team either because, I mean, the Patriots had it with Randy Moss. As soon as Brady went down, like Randy Moss did half routes. He just didn't try because he didn't get the ball, didn't get what he wanted. When
the
quarterback was just trying to keep the team afloat. I mean, it's just like you can't. I mean, you're having a tough year, again, because maybe it was because the play action wasn't there and Dak didn't have that opening to him, and he doesn't get the ball when he wants. And then he gets complacent and doesn't try 100%. And I think that's something you just can't.
That's because Gronk's 6'7". I mean, that's a little unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, though, on contact and in goal line, Dez Bryant can really get off the corner really well. And I feel like in the end zone, Dez Bryant is still a go-to option. Even though he can't jump up there and get it, either does Gronk.
You're the only one who thinks that because another team does.
Yeah, right. But I'm alluding that to Dez Bryant being still a physical presence where he can still go get the ball in the end zone. He might not be the 100-yard guy on the field.
Once again,
in the end zone,
the drama
I still feel
queen
like Dez Bryant
of most wide receivers like him. It's all about them. It's always all about them. So, if he could easily be on the team right now.
It's not, but, and like Dez Bryant said out on Twitter, he said it's not. He has plenty of teams that want him. It's Dez Bryant deciding where he wants to go. It's not NFL.
What? How does that? What? NBA? What? Not even close.
Oh, you're telling me NBA free agency is stupid then? It's the same thing with LeBron and with
LeBron and Dez Bryant are not the same.
No. You're saying No. You're alluding to the point where LeBron could be. LeBron could easily be on a team right now, but he's picking his best option. It's the same thing Des Bryant is doing. He could easily be on a team. He's picking his best option. He's picking where he best fits in. There's nothing wrong with that. He is wanting to be successful. If he goes somewhere where he is not successful, there goes Des Bryant's career. So don't even give me that. That's a.
Well, I guess we're living in fairy tale land here.
I don't feel like that's true at all because Des wants to win as well. And if you go back to – this was years ago. If you go back to Lambeau, Des would already have a Super Bowl trophy. He catches that off. Oh, yeah, absolutely. They catch that in Green Bay. They're going to the ship. Yeah, absolutely. It's not even a question.
I mean, I think Des does want to win. He wants to win now and find a team that actually – I don't think he wants to go to a team that's like rebuilding that like would be willing to take a wide receiver of his talent. He doesn't want to go somewhere where they're just going to be like 9-7.
I mean, Cole Beasley was outperforming him in Dallas.
I don't think he doesn't have the same demand as LeBron does, but he should go somewhere that he could contribute because I think he will try harder if the team like is winning and has a chance to get like his end goal. But just – I wouldn't take the.
Yeah, but Cole Beasley was a slot, and Cole Beasley was a lot better. He was a lot better catcher of the ball though too, and because Des Bryant did lead the league twice in drops in the league. And now Cole Beasley though, you get in the slot, you don't get his good corner on him, and so Des Bryant takes the attention, especially on the Dallas team where they have no big threat.
He doesn't take enough though. Like he's not doing what Julio Jones or those wide receivers are. They're taking two people off, and he's getting covered by one.
I'm saying on that Dallas team, he takes all the attention. That's why Cole Beasley outperformed him. But you give him someone other, and I love Tony Romo, but if we get a little bit better quarterback, you're telling me right now if Des didn't go to, say, Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, go replace the big threat with Jordy Nelson. You give Aaron Rodgers Des Bryant would, there's no question he wouldn't play any better because he would have a better quarterback. You go somewhere, even you go to Oakland, give him David Carr. I mean, you can give him – go to Seattle, get better option than Brandon Marshall, in my opinion. You can give him a better option. If he can go somebody with better than Tony Romo, Des Bryant would not be having this problem. I think it's been now Des Bryant's been a product of where he is. It's been his fault.
You're severely underselling the quarterback.
That other 20%, you give him a good quarterback.
Was a really good quarterback.
A lot of people would see. And like a lot of the Dallas Cowboys teammates have said, Des is only yelling because it's in the heat of the motion. And every time there's something happen, Des Bryant's always been the first one to apologize, always been the first one. He's not trying to be a head case.
The interception ratios.
Tony Romo was a really good quarterback, but Tony Romo wasn't a very good, consistent quarterback.
I think we're okay on your Tony Romo hatred. We don't need to hear all that.
Yeah, absolutely. The fourth quarter, they were always behind, so he had to throw the ball a lot more. Absolutely, yeah. And he also led the league in fourth quarter interceptions 3 of his 5 prime years. Yeah. So let's go back to it. Let's see how many games he's thrown away. Because believe me, I can tell you, I can go through them right now if you want to. But I don't got another
time to get into how Andrew Luck is. I mean, I don't think he's. I'm not sure about Andrew Luck.
Believe me, I love Tony Romo. I'm all about him, but I also understand that. You give Des somebody a better quarterback. Heck, I would take him here in Indianapolis. You go here with Andrew Luck. That could be something beautiful. That could be something beautiful, really good.
Yeah. So every week I'm going to give you 3 crazy facts. These are all factual. They are real. So if you would like to look them up,
we're going to get away from NFL free agency. Brandon is our new host. He came to us in a pregame host podcast. He wanted to introduce a new take on GT Sports Weekly. So, Brandon, kind of elaborate on what you're going to do and take us home.
These are factual. These are factual facts. This is not Wikipedia. This is – all right, first fact of the day. First fact of the day. Living next to a nuclear power plant gives you 100 times less radiation
3 crazy facts.
than eating a bag of potato chips every day.
So all these facts are Googled and confirmed.
Tyler, you might want to cut back on those chips a little bit. I'm trying to save your life here.
Well, let's start the insanity.
Okay.
Fact number 2. Services like Netflix and Hulu have saved all of us over 150 hours of commercials every year.
I like
which we then
I don't believe the fact that nuclear power plant. So
looking for stuff on Netflix.
They've got to have the area cut off probably a good 2 to 10 acres. So
Yeah, they
I'll
kinda
look
about
into
show
that one.
that,
But go
but it's
ahead
kinda
with
crazy.
fact number 2.
And then the last fact of the day is Ronald Reagan was a lifeguard during high school and saved over 77 lives. And that is your 3 facts for the day.
They really just balance out.
77 lives. It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, so wow, that's okay. I think that one was definitely. I definitely agree. That third fact
This
was
time next
mind-boggling.
week, we
That
will
was
know
definitely
where
that was the
LeBron
best
is.
one.
It's
I'm saying we will know by this time next
So,
week, Sunday of next week,
As
where
the new
LeBron is
host
going to
here,
sign.
Brandon, what can we a little new segment I'm going to have here? What do we have to look forward to this time next week? What will we be talking about? You're saying LeBron's going to definitely sign. Okay. All right, Garrett, what's something we're going to be looking forward to next week?
Well, since the Messi Ronaldo game already played, I was going to say we could see if those two are going to meet. But no, going to see if my new team will jump on the Sweden bandwagon, and we're going to see if they're going to be still alive by next week.
I think something we're going to be looking forward to next week. I definitely feel like the San Antonio situation will be better cleared up, and I definitely
also,
feel like
on the Facebook page,
Kawhi
look for
Leonard
Tyler
will have a
Martin
new
wearing
home in the NBA.
Cleveland Cavaliers number 23 jersey.
And that's it for GT Sports Weekly. Also, I want to give out a big reminder to everybody that everybody get on our Facebook page of GT Sports Weekly. Like it and share it if you can. Comment at us for any questions. Definitely.
See you next time.
That is not true, and that has never happened. If we put that page up, that you will see that it is not existent because it will not go up. Second of all, try to get us to it on social media through Instagram and Twitter. We'll definitely be getting at us at GT Sports Weekly, and we'll be looking forward to you for next week.
All right. See you.